Hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the part of the world. Uh, Thank you for joining me with this demo on use case for automating ChatGPT with UiPath. The agenda for this demo is basically going to look like, we're going to briefly discuss what is ChatGPT. Not that I'm going to explain to you or teach you what ChatGPT is. We all already know that, but from a perspective of this particular demo, which parts of ChatGPT we are looking at. So that's what we will see in that. And then we will look at how we can use ChatGPT for business. And we are going to see a use case demo. And we are also going to see a few limitations of this particular solution and the limitations of this particular demo, and then the alternatives to go over, to mitigate those limitations. So what is ChatGPT? We already know what ChatGPT is. Many of us we were already we've been hearing about this at least for the most part of the world since February 2023, hardly 5 6 months back, and it's all 4 5 months back. Yeah, it's still creating a buzz, and many people are still trying to figure out what it is. And while many people already know what it is, so we're going to see that ChatGPT is a large language model from OpenAI, which is basically a generative AI-based tool, which means it will generate content using artificial intelligence, and it interacts in a conversational way. So basically, it you can ask a question or you could give it an instruction, and the output will be something that it will generate for you. That can be either text, or it can be a video, or it can be an image, it can be audio, whatever the output is, we are talking about, depending on the particular tool. So let's see, how we can use ChatGPT for business. And in this case, we are going to be focusing on generative AI for generating text. Okay, that to normal English text. So you can use it for preparing write-ups in just a few minutes, and with just English-based prompts, normal English-speaking prompts. We can use it to look up company-wide documents, to address questions, and provide customer support to, to customers, or to the employees, whoever it is, based on the corporate data that could be hidden in documents, it could be hidden in Word files, or PDF, or web pages, what have you. We can also use ChatGPT for listening to videos and summarizing the content for us. With GitHub Copilot, which is an add-on based on Codex and coming from Microsoft, it can be used to fix or develop code snippets in a variety of languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, and so on. And this code snippet will be pretty accurate because it's being generated by the AI without any syntax error. But you may have to actually make sure that it actually fits your situation before you start blindly using it, which is the case all over the place. Whether it is for code, or for generative text, whatever it is, right? And of course, there are a lot more use cases on how ChatGPT can be used in business. Every day, somebody else or the other is coming up with new use cases. So this use case demo is what it has been built with UiPath, and basically what it does is it takes a product specification file as input, and then it also takes inputs in the form of a question, and it will generate an answer. And while the input can be, in this particular demo, it will be a PDF file, it can even be a web page. It can be a table on a web page. It can be an Excel file, or it can be a video link, or the actual file itself. And it can also be a Word document. And in the future, we don't know how many more things will come up as inputs that AI can actually assimilate. And at the end, once it takes the document and understands it, you can ask questions to it, and it will give you answers. So in this demo, what we're going to see is the bot will ask for a PDF file, and then it reads through the file and displays a summary in the beginning, and then it asks you for questions that you want answers for. And for each question, it will give you an answer based on the contents of that particular document that I just provided with. And to end the loop of asking questions, just say done. It will be, the bot has come completed. So we're now going to see the demo, and I'm going to run the bot that I developed in UiPath. Here it goes. It starts with asking for a file, and I'm going to give this particular file name here. It's going through the file contents, and it is summarizing the text from the file. And while it summarizes, we may have to wait for a few seconds. Although this will not happen when you run this on a much larger server where ChatGPT is involved. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. So this is just done everything on my computer with going to ChatGPT from the computer and things like that. So give it a few seconds, and before we know it, it will come out with the summary. That's the next step to expect. And generally, for the summary is like the word says, it will go through the entire content and summarize everything for you. It's like giving the text and going to ChatGPT and saying, "I'm going to give you this text. Give me the summary." Okay, there we go. We see the summary. And it says this document is a data sheet for the WLAN Bluetooth combo module with Cypress chipset for 802.11bgn plus Bluetooth version 5.1. It contains information, everything that you see on screen here. That's a summary. Now, let's click OK and see what happens after that. It will basically, it's going to ask you for your question. So once you enter the question, it will take that question and answer that question for you based on the content from the document. So let's see, we see that it is in the summary that it's about a part, right? Let's see, what is the part being described here. Now, if you notice, what happens is whenever you ask ChatGPT a question, it is possible that it will hallucinate, or rather, it might, in other words, it may not come out with the correct answer all the time. But there is something you can do about it, which is called prompt engineering. We'll cover that on another series of demos. But with prompt engineering, what you have to say is be precise, and if you do not know, say I don't know. So with these words, it will take that as instructions and then answer the question, the basic question here. So in this case, I'm not entering the text because in the bot itself, for every question, the bot appends that prompt to the question that you ask, and then before it submits the question to ChatGPT. So you don't have to take care of that. I have taken care of that in the code already for you. So let's click OK and see what happens. Yep, it says WLAN plus Bluetooth combo module. That's the name of the part that is being described here. The next question, let's say, what is a part number? Again, you don't have to say be precise. The code is already doing that for you. And here we go. It is saying that the sample part number is LB5K1 1DX temp, and then it is giving you the actual part number. So it's getting the information about the part number and it's giving you that. So let's say this document has a section about about the revision history. So let's say we ask a question: when was the last update done? May 14, 2020. Let's give it a few seconds. I will pull up the actual file, and let's pull up the actual file and see if that is true or not. Yeah, there we go. So this is the revision history that I was talking to you about, and it said that with the issue date, the whatever is the information that is happening on that in the revision history. And yeah, the latest update was done on May 14, 2020. So there we go. So let's see what is the next question we are going to ask. What was the change done on May 12, 2020? This is not the May 14th, the last date, but we'll ask about May 12th, 2020. Yep, there we see it said updated the test environment info. May 20 updated the test environment info, corrected a typo, updated Japan certification, typical clock period. It basically explained everything that's in the change reason. It didn't, obviously go to any of the other columns because we say what was the change, right? So it went to the change reason and pulled up that text. Smart, isn't it? So let's see. Let's get a little deeper and into some of the specs. Yeah. So we'll ask it a question based on this storage. What is the minimum storage? It said minus 40 degrees centigrade. Look at that. So it took the fact that the first of all, I said min, it understood it as minimum. That's number one. I said, what is the temperature? And it saw that the min is minus 40. It basically gave that information. And then it also said, hey, when you're asking what is the temperature, normally we say degrees, either in Fahrenheit or centigrade. In this case, the document is clearly saying that it is in degrees centigrade. And it didn't say minus 40 DEGC like you see on the document. It said it put the degree symbol there, which is pretty smart on how ChatGPT is doing it. So really, it is basically able to go through the document and asking, taking your questions and answering them for you in the smartest way possible. So now having done that, let's just end the demo. I will type done, and that's it. That marks the demo, the end of the demo. So now that we've seen the demo, now let's look at the limitations of this demo. The the UiPath license that I have used to develop this automation for the purpose of this demo is based on a community license where it has limitations on the number of pages that the bot can read in 1 hour. So that's one reason why you may not be able to see it, but I cannot run more than one file within the same hour. That's a limitation I've seen, but that will go away once we purchase an enterprise edition license, and then depending upon how many pages that you bought for reading pages with the OCR format, right? So depending on that problem will go away. The next thing I want to talk about is the limitations of this particular solution itself, where so basically you're using ChatGPT to go through your file, right? So this ChatGPT is you have to remember it's on the cloud, it's on OpenAI website, and whatever information you give it, let it be the file or the contents of the file or the questions that you are asking, they are all stored on their servers for future training purposes. The model is undergoing training constantly, so that's how so this information goes to their servers, and it can fall in the hands of somebody else, right? Somebody else, if they ask a similar question based on the similar content, they will be able to see the response. And if you don't want that, then this is not the ideal way of doing it. There is a different way of handling it. We will talk about that in the alternatives. So there will not be, you will have, loss of privacy, but this particular demo has been done with the files that are available on the internet anyway. So, even if even if this demo doesn't do it right, the information is actually there out on the internet. For, let's say, if you don't want your competition to see the files, you wouldn't be uploading them onto your website anyway. So that's so this demo, the way it is done, is okay. But if you have files that are proprietary and containing, patent related, top contents, this is not the way to do it. We will discuss that in the alternatives. Now, what are the alternatives? There are quite a few alternatives. Let's see one by one. GPT for all is the other technology that is basically, you can look at it as ChatGPT on premises. For example, if you have GitHub, you can have GitHub on github.com, or you can install the software on your own enterprises servers. So that will be GitHub for enterprise, right, on premises. So similarly, UiPath, you can use the UiPath on their cloud, or you can install it on your own servers. So like that, GPT for all is ChatGPT for installing on your premises. Now, when you install it on premises, there are two choices of the infrastructure that you can use. One is you can use it, you can use Azure Cloud using Azure Cognitive Services, and so that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is you can lease ChatGPT from Microsoft Supercomputer with confidential AI, meaning, so like, even though you are getting it from the supercomputer that Microsoft is maintaining, you can still put Chinese walls, to basically separate the data of your organization from another organization, and so that's called confidential AI, and so that's another way of handling this. So in conclusion, let's see what is it we have seen today. We have seen what is ChatGPT very briefly, at least from the context of the demo. And we have seen a few ways we can use ChatGPT for businesses. And we have also seen a use case demo. We have seen the limitations of the solution as well as for the particular demo. We have also seen alternatives on how to mitigate or overcome these limitations. And so with that, let me conclude, and thank you for joining me in this video.